Hey all, good morning. This is Raj here. Welcome to ShareTreck. Yesterday was a holiday due to Memorial Day. The markets were closed, so we had no video. But today is a brand new day. It's bright and shiny out there. Nice and sunny day. I think the markets will also reciprocate with some good action. Let's get started. I'd like to first start off with really good news for CVC. It's good news for CVC, but definitely creates complications in the CRISPR IP area. Let's take a look at this first news article. So the first news article comes from CCON, and it's an article published from Dublin. It says patent upheld, ERS leadership position in Europe's CRISPR landscape confirmed. So if you were to look into this particular news article, I'm going to put the link in the description below so you can take a read by yourself. So what it basically says is that it's a great news for CVC Group because opponents had challenged EP 400 at the European Patent Office, formally claiming lack of novelty and inventive step, and asked OD to revoke the patent in its entirety. They are talking about the CRISPR IP patent, which was awarded to the CVC Group by the European Patent Office. These arguments were soundly rejected by the OD. Minor modifications to the claim language were made to account for European rules which apply to restrictions involving human germ cells and embryos. Minor modifications reiterating already existing restrictions were added to the ruling, and European Patent 3401/400, which is EP 400, has withstood formal opposition from European Patent Office with only minor modification. The decision by EP Opposition Division, which is called OD, was recently published following lengthy hearings, which included discussions in February for this year. And the patent was the third of the three foundational patents filed by the CVC Group in Europe, with wide-reaching fundamental claims, including use of CRISPR technology in eukaryotic cells and organisms, including human, animal, and plants. So I think this kind of sets the stage for a compromise between Broad Institute and CVC, because Broad Institute has got the patent rights in the US and CVC now has it in Europe. So they need to get together so that there's a uniform IP regime for all the other people who are going to license. Let's watch this space carefully going forward and see how it develops. It will be interesting to see if the market reacts to this news, and if Editas finds a little bit of a dip and other companies which had got their IP from CVC take a bit of a jump today. It'll be a very interesting situation to watch. The next news item I have is coming from investing.com. It says record high inflation pushes Eurozone shares to new session lows. So Eurozone shares hit new session lows today after data showed inflation rose to a record high of 8.1% in May. They had actually expected that there would be an inflation of 7.7%, so it came up 0.4% higher. This makes the market expect that there will be higher interest rate hikes by the European Central Bank. And as we know very well, when that kind of sentiment comes in, the stock market falls. So that's what happened to the European stock markets. Our next news article comes from CNBC. It says Indian and Chinese stock markets could grow fourfold by 2050. It's an investment firm that deals in India that has made this mention. It's a British investment firm. Personally, I have had a lot of investments in India right since the days when I was in India and working in India. It's almost 2.5 decades ago. And I still have it, and I do actively trade in the Bombay Stock Exchange and the National Stock Exchange. The returns we get in India is phenomenal. The only concern for foreign investors is the exchange rate loss. But I personally have benefited a lot. There are some really, really great companies, and a lot of domestic investors have started investing in India. So I know that for sure. I don't have much insight into the Chinese market, but as far as Indian stock market is concerned, absolutely, they're doing extremely well. And the domestic market has picked up a lot. ETFs are already there in large measure, as well as mutual funds. There's a whole range of insurance-related pension policies also in the market. The banks are also growing. There's been a huge privatization of banks, and a lot of big private banks are now in the landscape of banking, whereas much earlier, when I was still in India, it was mostly nationalized banks, and banking was created to generate employment. So everything was sluggish in the banking sector, right from transactions to updating passports or even clearing checks. Right now, the banking system in India has developed so much that if you deposit a check in one corner of India, let us say in Kashmir, you can have the credit for it within 2 days. In the southernmost tip of India, maybe like Cochin or Kanyakumari, which is in the southern tip of India. So Indian banking system absolutely is world class when it comes to transactions, and there's a proliferation of ATM. And also during the COVID-19 phase, you had vegetable vendors who used to go place to place selling the vegetables using Google Pay. So even mobile penetration has increased. It's just a question of the Western market discovering India, and also with the new government which has been in power for the last 9 years, there has been a lot of automation of government services, which has reduced corruption and delays. Most notable among them is total automation of the tax system. So overall, I buy this article. I say yes, India is definitely Indian stock market is definitely positioned for high growth. And if any of you are interested, I'd be able to put separate videos on select stocks in India which are performing well. And there were also some stocks, some ETFs in the Canadian market, which were dealing with the Indian portfolio, but they didn't do very well for some reason. Maybe it is the exchange rate fluctuation. There's another article here in stockmarket.com that says Bristol Myers and Novartis receive additional FDA indications for cancer medications. So this talks about two companies receiving FDA label expansion for their respective cancer medication. BMY, that is Bristol Myers, Optivio, and Novartis Camara now have additional indications within cancer. Optivio, also known as nivolumab, is now a first-line option for the treatment of esophageal squamous cell carcinoma. In brief, the FDA is greenlighting two regimens of Optivo for the indication. Additionally, Novartis Camara received approval for adults with relapsed or refractory follicular lymphoma. Also, it's a third-line option following two systematic treatments. As of this latest regulatory win, Camara is now approved for treatment of 3 blood cancer types in the US. In the larger scheme of things, the overall field of cancer treatment continues to grow and expand. So there are a few other therapies, as you know, when we look at our pipelines for various genomic companies. There's a lot of candidates in clinical trials for lymphoma, refractory lymphoma, and large tumors. So there's a lot to expect out there for patients, and that's good news. So that brings us to the end of the news roundup, and let's go and have a look at Nasdaq and the indices and see where we are headed for today. Let's start off by looking at our Nasdaq futures first. Nasdaq futures are mildly positive, but I don't think this is going to last because, as we read earlier in our news article, European markets fell because of increased inflation in Europe and the fear that ECB might increase interest rates. So if ECB raises interest rates, there's going to be demand destruction out there in US. Money will be mobbed out of the market, and we also have the oil embargo, which is in progress. Gradually unfolding with an aim of having at least 90% embargo on Russian oil by the end of the year. This is going to push a lot of energy costs to go up, and as you know, energy cost percolates into everything because goods have to be transported from the factory to the warehouse, and then to the showroom, and then to the customer's home. So all the extra cost due to fuel for transportation is going to go into that, as well as running a tractor in a field and sending the produce from the field to the factories and to supermarkets. All of this is going to attract the inflation. So I think that most probably we may have a bearish market today. Besides, we also had good markets before the close. We had a lot of upward movement. So that's my guess looking at the futures. Now let's look at indicators and see what the indicators are telling us. If I go to QQQ, I can see that QQQ is negative minus 0.04. So I think there's a bearish trend. It's 7:49 a.m. so it's fairly early in the day. But based on everything, I think there's going to be a bearish open to the market. Let's look at US oil. I'm going to zoom out, and this is a 5-minute chart. I'm going to turn this into one year chart with each candle being 1 day. And if I look at the oil chart, I can see that we were in an upward trend earlier, and then we started to consolidate in a bullish pennant, and we have broken out of the bullish pennant, and now we are charging upwards. Right now, oil is at 118.50. At market open, it's up 0.76%. MACD is bullish, and momentum is also pretty strong, and there's plenty of room before oil can become overbought. So there's a good chance that oil is going to go up today. It could, because interest rates will be going up in Europe, and the stock market has fallen out there, so money is likely to go into the oil sector. Now let's look at VIX. VIX, which had come down below 27.67 on Friday, is back up again, supported by the 50-day exponential moving average. The MACD is still bearish but tending towards the signal line, but the momentum is picking up. It's below average, so I still have little hopes. But looking at the overall picture of what is emerging from Europe, I think there will be overhang from Europe, a bit of bearishness. So VIX is likely to test the 9-day and the 20-day exponential moving averages today. I wouldn't be surprised if we end the day with the VIX above the 20-day exponential moving average, which is currently sitting at 28.48. And as we all know, we need the VIX to come below 20 so that we can be able to do some swing trading and have some more calm markets where predictable money can be made. Right now, the volatility is very high. Let's look at the other indicators that we have here, which is the US dollar index. US dollar index has been on a bear track all the way down. If you see this bearish channel, it has bounced off the 50-day exponential moving average, which sits at 12,586, and it has gone past the upper limit of our bear channel. And the green candle that you see here is today's candle, which has the support of the 50-day exponential moving average. It has broken through the resistance of this bearish channel, and it is heading towards the 9-day exponential moving average, which sits at 12,656. If you look at the MACD, it's bearish but tending towards the signal line. Momentum is below average and picking up, and given what has happened in Europe, I'm going to think that today we're going to test the 9-day exponential moving average here and continue to move up in US dollar index. When US dollar index goes up, it means that money has been bought in from other sectors of the economy into the US dollar index. Therefore, you can expect gold, crypto, and Nasdaq to drop. And with that said, we're going to look a little bit more on QQQ and see what cues we get. We have been on a straight upward march for the last 3 days. You see 3 green candles, and that's probably going to be broken today because we have a resistance here, which is at 310.45. So we are most likely to bounce down from the resistance at 310.45. Further, when it comes to QQQ, I now have this 2-hour chart out here for you, and you will see that if we zoom out, we were initially going up. We were supported by this green line of support. We were in a bull channel, and then we turned around somewhere around, I would say that somewhere around 23rd of November 2021, and since then we consolidated a little bit, and from 28th of December we started our journey downwards, and we had a move upwards at this level out here, and then we are trying to do the same thing out here. So if I was to take a trend line, and if I was to draw it from here to here, and if I move that, so ideally we would be moving up all the way to here. Unfortunately for us, we have the news from EU that EU inflation level has gone up more than expected, and the stocks have fallen there. Therefore, we are most likely to see a turnaround from this line out here, which is at 319.31, and we might come down, and we might probably get some support out here in this 310.45 level. If we break through that, then our next level of support is going to be 302.95. Pre-market already indicates a negative 0.26% decline. So it's looking bearish at this point of time. And with that, let's go and have a look at our crypto and gold sector and see what's happening out there. So if you look at gold, as predicted, gold is already dropping. It's dropped minus 0.24%. It has got support at 1,841.26, which is this green horizontal line of support. But the money has probably gone back into the US index, US dollar index. And if we were to look at our Bitcoin, Bitcoin is up 1.54%. And if I go to a 1-day time frame, we will see that after having gone up during the weekend, it is already starting to come down. Bitcoin will move in sympathy with Nasdaq and it will drop after market open. That is my prediction for Bitcoin today. With that said, I think it's time for us to go and have a look at our genomic stocks. Let's start by looking at IDNA, which is the Genomic Shares ETF. It had gone up 1.21% yesterday, despite the fact that many of our watch list companies have gone up double digits as on Friday. But IDNA has been a bit slow out there. It still is consolidating between these two ranges. And in today's action, I think that it's likely to come down unless there is a positive push because of the good news we have had about Bristol Myers and Novartis and FDA giving them extended clearance for use of their therapies for Camara, etc. So if that is the case, there will be a bit of a spurt, but overall sentiment is going to bring it back down again. So today I'm bearish. We also see that the momentum is below average but pushing up, and MACD is bullish. So when momentum is below average, I don't feel confident predicting that things are going to go up. At this point of time, my prediction is that the entire genomic sector is likely to lose a little bit. Let's do a quick look at all our watch list items just to stay in touch with the charts and current. So I'm looking at PACB out here. It has broken out of the consolidation pattern. What would be interesting to see is whether it can remain above this and continue on a next level for consolidation, or whether it falls back and comes in here. I suspect that PACB is likely to fall back again today because of the overall bearish news that we have been hearing, and continue in this consolidation pattern for a while. When we look at Verve, Verve has again tried to break through. On Friday, it has had the biggest leap. All of its MACD as well as RSI seem to be in good shape. However, it's going to face severe resistance from this diagonal red line of resistance under which we have been going for all the while. This is a very strong bearish channel out here, and we still have this minor support. So we are likely to test this. Ideally, I think that if I was to extend this red line further, we form a kind of pennant out here. I think somewhere closer to here, we'll decide whether we are going up or we are going down. Today being a bearish day for overall markets, I suspect that we are likely to come down and test the minor level of support for Verve. Let's look at Beam again today. Beam is on a upward movement for Friday. It has converted the 20-day exponential moving average into a support. However, it's going to run into a big resistance out here. We have this bear channel on which we were before, and the support of the bear channel is going to be the resistance right now. And I don't think that we are going to be able to break through that today because our momentum is below average, and also overall there is a bearish outlook because of the European inflation status. DNA has been bullish for quite a while now, and it's finding resistance here at 3.20 and also at the next level, which is going to be at 3.33. Pre-market, we are already at 3.22. So there seems to be some positive outlook for DNA. And if you look at DNA, it has been severely beaten up. So I don't grudge any positive outlook for DNA at this point of time. However, we should concede that the resistance, which is at 3.33, is very strong because it is married with the resistance coming from the 50-day exponential moving average, which is this green line, which also is at 3.33. And given the overall pessimistic attitude outside, I think that DNA is likely to just slip back again and test the diagonal line of support and move very narrowly without much of a range today. Let us look at news and see if there is any new news which is available for Ginkgo Bioworks. The last was on May 18th, so nothing new out here that we know of which can give optimism. So with that said, let us go on to Intelia. Intelia is again range bound and it's likely to bounce between these two ranges. Editas up 7.55 on Friday, and it's still going to be constrained by this horizontal minor resistance, as well as our 20-day exponential moving average, which sits at 11.89. Pre-market, we are already down minus 4.11%, so we are likely to test the support that we have at 9.65. Teladoc was up 6.94% on Friday, and it's being constrained by the 20-day exponential moving average, which sits at 36.25, and I can see that pre-market we are down 1.03%, so there's definitely going to be consolidation here. It's going to move down and test the support, which happens to be at 26.98. Allogene is up 6.67% on Friday, converting the 20-day and the 9-day exponential moving average into supports. It has got resistance from the 50-day exponential moving average. Pre-market, it's already down minus 0.62%. Right now, it is 8:33 a.m., so we are way ahead of the market. So there is a negative bias already here. So Allogene is likely to consolidate. I'm going to put a line of support for it so that we have some bottom that it can stand to, and I'm going to mark this green. So this is a line of support, and it's sitting at around, I would say, 6.67. So that's the bottom support out there. Illumina was up 5.95% on Friday, and it had a big jump, and it's also converted the 20-day exponential moving average into a support. It's got a very steep raise in the MACD, so there's most likely a possibility that we are likely to give up some support out here because of the sharp rise we had yesterday and the European inflation information. There is no pre-market trade out here, so the enthusiasm is slightly less. So I would suspect that we're going to fall below the 20-day exponential moving average, and it will be interesting to say if we are able to stay about 248.84, which is this minor line of support that we have drawn out here. And if that is the case, then we should look for consolidation at the next level, and that will prove our theory further. CRISPR was up 5.63% on Friday and converted the 50-day exponential moving average into a support. Its next support lies at 53.44. MACD is bullish and momentum is also above average and picking up. Pre-market, we are positive. So CRISPR is likely to get a few positives, but by the end of the day, it's likely to test the support of the 50-day exponential moving average, which is sitting at 56.43. ARCG was up 5.42%, and it's likely to consolidate between these two ranges. Pre-market, it's already down minus 0.71%. Caribou Biosciences was up 4.01% on Friday. Pre-market, there are no trades, but I'm thinking that the support at 8.25 is going to hold for Caribou Biosciences. Bluebird was up 3.80% on Friday, and it still has got resistance from the 50-day exponential moving average. Pre-market, it's already down minus 0.61%. I'm expecting it to still consolidate and stay above 2.88. Vertex was up 1.51% on Friday, no pre-market trades. I'm still expecting this diagonal line of support to support the share price somewhere around 273.88 for the day. Regeneron was up 1.37%, and it's on a very steep channel upwards, and it has support at 688.68 as of Friday, and today we have no pre-market trades, so I would see that probably it's going to get support at 688.68, and if not, the next level of support is a 9-day exponential moving average at 676.20. And given that we have been on a steep upward channel, I would expect a bit of sideward consolidation to be a bit healthy. MACD is bullish, and momentum is also above average and picking up. So there is no reason for Regeneron not to go up, except for the fact that in Europe we have the fear of increasing interest rates, and that may have overhang out here. Novartis was up 0.22% on Friday, but it's already down minus 0.66%. It's likely to give up some of the gains. So I'm going to convert this support from yesterday on Friday into a resistance. Our next support is going to be a 9-day exponential moving average at 90.13, and that's where I expect to end the day. Pfizer was down minus 0.15. It's down minus 45%, minus 0.45% pre-market. So our next line of support again is a 9-day exponential moving average at 52.71. And IMTX was down minus 2.14%. I would be interested to see it stay above this horizontal minor support and start consolidating in the next level, and that will prove our theory of how the market is going to behave going forward. So with that said, I have come to an end of my chart analysis. So friends, that brings me to the end of our analysis today. And if you like this video, please put a like there. It lets more people find our channel. If you're already a subscriber, I thank you for your being a subscriber with us. If not, please subscribe and become a member of our community. And I look forward to turning 500 subscribers by the end of this week. Please help me in that effort by subscribing. Thanks and have a great day.